So yeah, we'll move on to the county website. So we do have a county website. So we started a draft under our Parks, Recreation, Natural Resources site. If you were to look at your monitors or up at the screen, we discussed that we didn't want to put the Gulf Harbor Neighborhood Park inside the same location as our park locations, because it would confuse the public that it was a park that was open to the public. So we created a new tab called Special Projects. And under Special Projects,
Real quick, if you haven't seen that video and that program video, that is such a shameless plug. It's amazing. I'm very proud of that program.
Okay, let's play it. Go. How long is the video?
Like a minute.
Oh, play it.
All right, okay. It's fantastic. So before you click it, this just shows the good things that we're trying to do for the community. So the intent of this program basically is for us to say, hey, you want to do some kind of outdoor activity, you don't have the funds necessarily to buy a mountain bike or canoe or archery or geocaching, whatever. So we got that equipment for you. We're going to create opportunities for you to recreate that way, and we're going to lead those activities. So yeah, I wasn't expecting them to watch it, but it's pretty awesome. Do we have sound?
You guys know how I am with this.
Okay, well then I don't want to waste any time, but you should check the video out on your own time. It's awesome. So, and the program's awesome. And if you want to register for any of the programs, it's online through our online reservations. So very, very cool. But all right, anyway, sorry. Whenever I can plug that program, I do because I believe in it. Yeah. All right.
You know, there's been a big fear from some of the residents in Gulf Harbors that this is going to be a public park and then there's going to be thousands of people sleeping there and vagabonds. So the fact that this is not on the public park site, that it's under special projects, I think was a very intelligent move, and hopefully that will assuage some of the fears of some of the members at Gulf Harbor. So good job by that.
And the first sentence is it's not.
Yeah, great job.
so yeah, this is the draft site. So it provides some just basic information that it's not a public park. So they can clip it from the resolution on how the park came to be. The Board of County Commission approved the park existence and MSBU in February 22nd, 2022. Gives the name of the advisory committee members. And then we'll have FAQs, and that's what we'll talk about a little bit today, is what you as advisory committee would like to put on the FAQs, what questions you're getting from the community, and what answers we can provide to the community. We did attach some related documents, the ordinance, the resolution, as well as the acquisition agreement, the purchasing agreement when the county initially purchased the property, so that's there. We can include additional documents as needed, including the meeting minutes as those are approved through the board. And there's a contact email that goes to the county email. And so we'll have to determine how we're going to get that to you, the advisory committee. So as we receive comments from the public, who from the advisory committee will receive those comments from the public. And then the next meeting date is linked to the county calendar. So if you were to click on that, it would show the county calendar, and it shows the next one is today. Well, the current one is today, October 4th at 6 p.m. So that's the draft. We'll send. I think I sent the link to you. So if you want to review it and provide. Did you guys get the link?
No, I don't think I don't remember seeing that sent out.
Okay, it was in the email Monday. It was called Link, and you had to click on it.
Okay. That was one of my 247,000 emails.
They probably thought it was a phishing attempt, so they
Exactly. So Madam Chairman, under new business, we have the maintenance schedule. I'd like to, if we have time, talk about FAQs today, and also who receives the emails. Can we add those two under the new business? So FAQs and who receives emails.
What is your suggestion?
My suggestion is we talk about those two after we do the maintenance schedule, and then finish the old business.
Social comment?
I got it. I think he's got it.
I got it. So any more on the public notification of the website?
That's it on our end. I'll get questions.
Okay. And the next item on old business is the annual assessment. Okay.
All right, so for the annual assessment, Madam Chair, if you don't mind, we'll just pull up a map of the property.
This one?
There's one that's, it's that same one, but there's one that's blown up.
Oh, that's right.
But
This one?
not quite. There's one that has the delineation of the wetlands.
Yeah, there's one that's bubbled.
Yeah, that's the contract.
Yeah, that's it.
I think that's the attachment you sent to me yesterday.
Yes.
It's a separate document.
That one, I think the map was set there. That, yes, that.
Yeah, that was good.
That's not.
Keep talking.
All right, so there's a map, and it shows the property, and it shows what was delineated as an area that is not mowable, the ponds, and what is mowable. So what was
Here we go.
determined is 41 acres of mowable portions of the property. So in terms of the assessment, and we'll talk about the cost as well with our mowing contractor. What you decide on the frequency and the type of mowing will determine the cost. So you as advisory committee will determine how you want to mow the property in terms of the intensity, either it be like a yard mowing or a bush hogging. So for this map, this kind of gives you an idea of if you were to mow your 25 acres of a bush hog, it would cost, according to our current contract, and to assume the extended contract, it's $60 an acre. If you want to pull this price sheet up, yes.
And just to clarify, this map does not delineate ELAN and the park piece. So what Kavika is mentioning is we don't have that on that map right now, but we're not saying that the MSBU or that the residents would be paying for the ELAN mowing. We're only talking about the park space. So just to be clear.
The ELAMP was, we're pretty much just leaving that alone, right?
No, that's not true. So yeah, we're gonna do maintenance out there. So obviously, the goal would be to figure out how we're gonna do this concurrently, you know, but like I've said in many meetings prior, the level of maintenance would be different long-term between the two areas within the property. One, primarily because of site conditions, mostly, and two, because of the environmental sensitivity of those areas in general. So, but yeah, that team is also working on a management plan, which when that's ready, we'll have Kavika share that with the group. So that way, at least there's some synergy and everyone's aware of what's going on.
Thank you. So the NDL, Natural Design Landscaping, they're the vendor that has the mowing contract for the department. They went through the normal purchasing procedures and bid on the work. So for the turf lawn area mowing, it's like a grooming deck, like you would around your yard. So they did it by square foot for some reason, the per unit cost, but that comes out to $100 an acre. So if you want to have like a grooming deck type mowing, it's $100 an acre.
And this is a month, right?
This is per mow.
Per-
acre.
Per activity.
No, but, okay, so the $60 per acre is per month? Or per mow, each time we mow, okay. I keep assuming we're gonna mow once a month for that bush hog, okay, guys,
So the
yeah.
frequency is ultimately going to be decided.
Right, got it, okay.
And the type of mowing, the grooming mowing is a little more cleaner, nicer, it's going to be more, $100 an acre. There's also a cost for, if you were to scroll down, for services such as line trimming, blowing, pavement, weeding. There's a linear cost for that per foot. So that would be possibly like around pavilions or trails. And then for the bush hogging, which is not as intense as the groom mowing, it's $60. So you basically have two mowing types that you would be considering.
We're thinking you're gonna select item 1 and item 3, and
Right.
it'll be, we would propose 2 different cuts and 2 different frequencies over a calendar year, effectively. So,
Right.
and like we talked about last time, you can maybe put in 24 cuts on, from item 1, and maybe you don't do those in the winter, you deploy those, you double them up in the growing season, but you're still paying for 24 cuts. Or, brush hogging, maybe it's just 1 brush hogging event per month, maybe it's just 12 times. It's just, ultimately, that's really what we need to work out. To clarify, this is the actual county contract for maintenance, not just the department. So these are the numbers that we have to stick to. I know there was some questions at last meeting, could we go out and hire our own contractor and stuff like that? And technically, in theory, I guess the community could, but from a timing perspective, this is gonna be the quickest way to deploy something. Regardless of however we pay for it, this will be the quickest way.
I want to get some clarified dates. So the budget that we are going to be submitting is for which start date and end date? What's the start date? The budget that we're going to put together
Is
is
it October, or is it it's not October?
Fiscal year starts October.
October 23 through September 24.
Right.
Okay. And then, so then the next critical question is, if the community wants improvements other than grass cutting, if they want a walking path, if they want bathrooms, whatever the community wants, the question is to determine the budget, can we guesstimate when that would start? Because that might change the mowing. So if we don't think anything's going to happen until 25, then we can probably strip down the mowing times, because people technically, if we're not going to have a walking path for that next year, there's no use in doing, and no one's going to be allowed on the property, which I think we talked about last time, then you just bush hog the whole thing and do the cheapest thing we can. If we believe that we're going to have a path, maybe late 23, early 24, and that we're going to put some improvements on it, then maybe that changes the mowing, or the mowing around that particular area. So it's really a question of what we think can happen.
Well, when you talk, so ultimately those are decisions that the advisory committee would need to come to, but when you talk about a path, are we talking about just a mowed path, or are we talking about an actual, like, crushed shell?
A coquina type path, pervious to water, but something that people can walk on and won't twist their ankle on.
Yeah, I think, again, getting back to budget, you don't have that budget that you can construct that at this point. So,
Understand?
yeah, so I think, I'm not saying that the committee couldn't roll that into the original, into the first assessment. That'll be up to the group here to decide. But I think we would need to do that in addition to the maintenance budget, and then just make modifications at that point. I think per the ordinance language, whatever money is not used for that year basically would stay in fund balance and then can be applied to the following year. That's typically how most capital budgets work. So my point is if let's say you determine a maintenance budget of X, but you need something different, that would still stay in fund balance, and you can probably redeploy that in a later year. So you wouldn't necessarily need to tweak the assessment. You would just not use all the money in the MSBU fund balance, if that makes sense.
So the question is then, because I kind of misunderstood something last time, if we were to mow to walking standards that St. Augustine, which is tough to walk on anyway, but to cut it down into some sort of walking path that would differentiate between what we bush hog, which would be maybe 3 or 4 inches high, is that a park that's openable? In other words, could we get a walking path, something that someone could walk on in 2023 and the beginning of 2024, or no?
So I think the answer to that is yes. I'm thinking of our eland properties where, in some cases, you can.
That's what I'm thinking, right?
Yeah.
Mow it as low as you possibly can get it.
Yeah, and I think that would in itself create a path, to your point.
Right.
And if people are using it just through use alone, it probably would kind of create a natural, the substrate wouldn't be coquina or crushed shell, because you wouldn't have the budget to deploy that material, but you still could create a safe environment for people to utilize the property. So yes, I think we can do that.
Okay.